Hey guys, welcome back to the RapChat podcast. Before we head into the podcast, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcasts, make sure to leave us a rating and also leave us a review. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at RapChat Podcast, where we post new clips of the show every week. What's going on, guys?
You forgot to introduce us.
Oh, sorry. I'm your host, Luke Dick.
That threw me off so hard.
My bad. I'm your host, Luke Dick.
I'm Elias Eldridge.
And I'm Sam Kenny. Luke, you're normally so good at the intros, so we'll give you one pass.
Yeah, I know. I'm scatterbrained. I'm scatterbrained a little bit, but that's okay.
I might yell at you later.
After the show, like, hey, we're trying to be professional, okay?
Look, man, that shit ain't gonna fly over here, okay?
Yeah. That's not gonna happen, bro. You can't. You gotta promise us never do that ever again.
Never, or else you're off for good.
How are
first
you guys?
podcast of 2022.
Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah.
You know what?
Do you guys do resolutions?
No.
Do you guys no, me neither. I mean, I just say like I'm gonna live another year. That's my resolution because like I feel like that's such a I'll wait for next year to start.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know.
I should do some like physical exercise or something. That would be a good resolution.
I do want to stop sleeping again. I mentioned it to you earlier. I want to stop sleeping again more this year, but it's not like I want to do that anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I feel like my only thing is optimism, man. Like, I'm just trying to go into 2022 with like a fresh mind, a fresh perspective, and just like, you know, I don't really care what happens this year in terms of like external things. I feel like, you know, with all the stuff that we kind of got going on and all the stuff that, you know, I've been doing in my personal life, I feel like I'm just like, you know, I'm just not going to let that shit affect me, you know? I'm just going to keep moving forward, right? And keep
It's a good
trucking.
thing to do.
Because,
Good mindset.
you know, who
Very
wants
good
to be
mindset.
stuck in 2020 and 2021? Nobody.
No, God,
No.
Please, no. I'm done.
So today's schedule is we've got game recaps for the the Clippers game, and we've got for the New York game. Both actually, there's great things to talk about in both games, to be honest. I think we're probably going to spend more time talking about the New York game, but at the end of the day, there are things that I think that are good to talk about during the Clippers game too. Some things that maybe started in the Clippers game and then manifested themselves maybe a little bit later in that New York game.
For sure.
So, and then what after that, Sam maybe has a little question for us.
Yeah, but I'll tie it into our discussion during the Knicks game, I think, or both games. It's relevant.
I do also have something I want to ask them, I guess like you, but it might be the same question, to be honest. It's from the Knicks game. Yeah, we'll get there when we get there.
All right, and then we'll go looking ahead, and we'll wrap it up after that.
Sweet.
Cool.
Yeah, I didn't even realize this was our first podcast of 2022. That's pretty lit.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, so
Big things coming.
Yeah.
I'll start with the Clippers game then.
Let's go.
Sure.
Okay, check it out. All right, so we had the Raptors versus the Clippers. This was on, what day was this?
New Year's
31st.
Eve, I think.
Yes.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, Raptors versus the Clippers. Of course, Paul George was out, and so is Kawhi Leonard. They had a little bit of a weird team, but actually, and Zubac is out as well. It was like their three really main guys.
I hate this roster, dude.
You talked about it. You don't like Zubac, and I'm like,
I don't like any of their. I like Serge. I mean, and like outside of Kawhi
Serge.
and Paul George, obviously, but the rest, like, I mean, I feel like there's still a bunch of washed up dudes.
yeah,
Nick
Serge
Batum
has been
slander?
struggling, man. Serge has been struggling this season.
Yeah, man.
Well, they with Paul George has been really good. They've been exceeding my expectations, but like just the rest, it feels like
It's a cringy lineup or what?
It feels like a LeBron James team without LeBron James.
Oh, okay, I could see
know.
that.
It's kind of a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of players missing. I mean, we of course were missing Scotty. Who else were we missing this game?
I think.
Freddie All-Star. Wasn't Freddie All-Star this game? Oh, no, he was
No,
there.
Fred played.
No, yeah, Fred
I think
played.
we had everyone but Scotty.
Yeah, it was almost everybody. I think it was everybody
yeah.
but Scotty, because I'm pretty sure Precious and Kem both came back in this game.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
And
everyone but Scotty.
OG came back. But OG,
Yep.
I think OG was on a minutes restriction for this game.
He played 35 minutes.
Oh, did he? Oh,
Yeah,
then
so-
never mind.
That's
never
still
mind.
Yeah.
that's a Nick Nurse minutes restriction, honestly.
Yeah, that's
facts. That
He
guy
didn't play
loves
40.
OG so much too. OG's like the poster child of the Raptors.
of Nick Nurse.
Yeah, if Nick Nurse is Nick Nurse's poster child. I feel like OG could literally do anything, and Nick Nurse would be like, "Okay, have fun." So yeah, let's jump right into it. So we got the first quarter. Gary gets the first points, open 3 right away. Hold on, just 1 second. Turn on my do not disturb here, folks. So yeah, Gary hits open 3, first points of the games. It was a smooth shot right away. I noted also that Pascal, man, like he's really starting to remind me of his all-star self, man. Like his spin moves, man. He was looking smooth, so quick into this game. Like he had so many little quick turnaround jumpers and spin moves off the dribble, and it was looking great right away. OG for his first points had a nice free throw line step back jumper. I'm kind of curious to see how OG is gonna get back into his shooting, because we never really got to see OG at the top of his sort of game. So I was interesting to see him he took it in rhythm, which is great. I thought that we had great energy to start this game. We kind of came out really serious. We weren't messing around. We were like, okay, let's get this done. Amy Otterburn made a great point talking about how we've been missing Kem and Precious for quite a while, and we've missed having size, man. We've missed having that size. We've been depending on Pascal and Chris, to be guarding a lot of those bigger positions. Like we didn't have Kem or Precious during the Philly game.
No.
And we got and we I gotta say, man, we kind of got bodied a little bit. Like they outsized us for sure. It was a close competitive game. Anyone could have won that game really, but we did get a bit bodied. Game. We did get a bit bodied, especially by Embiid, because he's just like we had nobody who could really guard him. I
mean, I think we would have got bodied, but like slightly less bodied if we had Kem and Precious.
Yes.
Because
I agree.
A monster.
Yeah, I agree. So we did miss having that
while
size.
while you brought up Amy Otterburn, is Alvin Williams like gone now? He's been gone for a while.
No, he's in COVID protocols.
Still?
Oh, damn.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah. He tested positive for COVID.
Oh.
I saw him on Twitter say that. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah,
okay.
so she's filled in for him.
Yeah.
Damn. Rest in peace. I'm just kidding. It's all good. Anyway, sorry. So and I actually like Amy, man. I think she's a great commentator.
She does a really good job.
Yeah,
she's great.
She was great with the 905 last year too.
Yeah, man. I think she brings up a lot of great points, and she's got a good flow with the show, and she works well with Matt commentating, and she says very useful things on the show. Like I said, I brought up how she said, yeah, like for longest time we have been missing size with Kem and Precious, and also it's like it's been tough because when we've had Kem, we haven't had Precious. When we've had Precious, we haven't had Kem. And so, like them subbing off for each other, and of course, like Precious coming off the bench, I think is just so big for us, right? Because we need that stamina replacement of somebody who's going to play that position. So at 8:05, we had Gary with another nice in rhythm 3. One thing I did notice, and I want to know if you guys know this, Pascal's handle was a bit shaky this game. A bit shaky to start, at least. He turned the ball over maybe twice off of his handle. It wasn't looking quite like he was bringing the ball up, not down low, but at least bringing the ball up. It was looking a little bit shaky. I
think I see that sometimes with Pascal, where I feel like he's just kind of nonchalant with the ball, bringing the ball up the floor. He doesn't really protect the ball that much, but I've seen that a few times from Pascal.
Did you guys manage to watch the Clipper game? Did you guys both watch it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also think as of recently, like Pascal's been kind of asked to do more of like the point guard, like bringing the ball up. Yeah. So I think some of that is like he's just never really done that at this high of a rate.
Yeah, it's true because
his
Kyle
playmaking
and Fred
has been
too.
insane.
He used to have Kyle and Fred, so he never really needed to do that. But I think it's good though that Pascal gets those reps because man, like taking the ball up is a different sort of game. It's you really got to learn how to protect that ball, and I think at least one of the things that I think is important for him too is making sure you give the ball up at the right time. I think I saw him give the ball turn the ball over by making a couple bad passes while bringing the ball up, and I think that's important. You gotta make sure that you're sharing the ball, but you have to make sure you're also protecting it and making good passes. And it's just a great thing for him to add to his game.
That being said, though, I think his what he's been asked to do, I think he's doing it great. The point.
No. Yeah, I don't want that what I'm saying to take away from his performance. I was just saying that. Like just
those points.
Yeah, and it's good he gets those reps, right? Because playoff time, when you're gonna need him to take a responsibility, right? So,
gonna learn from it.
Mm-hmm. So, we had a lot of great looks from three to start. Fred to Pascal. There was a couple misses here and there, of course, but we had a lot of great looks, man. I think a lot of the shots we were taking were open. We were moving the ball around. Fred is just. I can't complain about Fred, man. He's so good, man. He's so good.
He's been absolutely insane the last few games.
Oh, just ridiculous.
All year he's been great, but
the last couple games he has been ridiculous. But we'll talk about that. I feel like I want to talk a little bit more about Fred during the New York game.
The New York game.
But,
it was stupid.
One thing I did write down was, geez, did I ever miss Kem's floater? Oh my God, man. Like, so smooth in rhythm, and him and Fred have a little bit of a thing down low, man. Fred can give it up.
They do. I was gonna say they have real good chemistry down low. Those two, the short pick and roll they do, and Kem's rolling, he'll feed it to him. So like it's all in one motion. When he's rolling, gets the ball, floats it up. It's all one straight thing.
No, I agree, and geez, man, I think Kem probably scored not this game, but throughout his past games, he's probably scored like 10, 12 points strictly off of just that little floater that he does. That's
his shot, man. That's his go-to.
Yeah,
it's his bread and butter.
So then we have Gary hitting another smooth three at the end of that quarter. I just love to see Gary shoot the ball, and I love to see him create his own shot. It's actually so exciting whenever I see Gary have the ball. I just really like to see him try to create his own shot. And, he's young too, so his game is still coming, but you can tell the foundation is there. And he's really looking for his particular shot. And I just like seeing him with the ball. So moving into the second quarter, for some reason I was rewatching this game on NBA League Pass, and it cut out the first 5-6 minutes of the quarter.
Yeah,
happened to me too.
So
I rewatched it. I rewatched it the next game, and then I right in the first quarter, and I went to go like brush my teeth, and then came back out, and it was half of the second quarter. I was like, what just happened?
Yeah. Wait, so you guys both rewatched this game on League Pass?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch it on New Year's Eve.
Oh, okay. I
watched it the next day.
So I'm not really sure.
I have no idea what happened.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened in that first 5 to 6 minutes. That first 5 to 6 minutes is a little bit of an enigma.
I was hoping one of you guys would know what happened.
No, I didn't see anything.
I have no clue.
So
I guess we'll just never know.
Yeah, we'll never know. I guess it's not in the cards. What if something just super dark and mysterious happened on the court?
Like dunk of the year happened or something.
Yeah.
No one will ever know.
So then we get in, so we go, I guess, halfway through the second quarter. Fred, man, hits another super, super high arcing shot. Super high arcing shot, man. We see one of those at least once a game. Crazy. Like, it almost looks like a Hail Mary, and you're just like, dude, this is going to airball. And then it just goes right in, and you're like, what the hell?
Perfectly in.
Perfectly, bro. Perfectly. Some of those shots actually end up being the cleanest swishes that he shoots. I'm like, all right. So, yeah, they ended up calling that one a 2, though, which was disappointing, but that's all right. The Clippers started making a bunch of threes in the second half of the second quarter, but for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason it still felt like we were ahead. Like it felt like we were beating them, but we weren't. We were actually losing.
Reggie Jackson went off that.
Yeah,
quarter.
Reggie Jackson was going off. I did want to briefly talk about Reggie Jackson, but he was still going off. I actually have it written down here. Reggie Jackson went off in the first half. So
I have your notes right in front of me. That's where I got it.
Yeah. I hacked your computer. I stole your notes.
Yeah. Hope it's cool with you.
Yeah, exactly. I might have hacked some other things too. So health records.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah.
I'm just kind of selling it low key. So.
Boys
got to make some money, man. I'm trying to hustle.
Well, yeah, man. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Gotta do what you gotta do. So I was saying I love Gary this game. I think he's playing within himself, and I think he looks very comfortable on the court. I almost never see Gary with the ball not knowing what to do. I think he always has go-to options that he has within his own game. Even if he isn't scoring a lot of points, he's still an ass out on the court. I was actually talking to a buddy.
He's making the right plays.
Yeah. I was talking to a buddy recently, and he was just like, "Oh, Gary Trent Jr. hasn't been doing well recently," and I'm like, because he has him on his fantasy team, and he doesn't necessarily watch the games, and I'm like, oh man, it sucks because I can see how it would look like that he's not performing well. But if you actually watch him, like, he is contributing a lot to the team. I'm pretty sure this game too. Is this the game he had 7 assists?
No, that was the Philly game.
That was the Philly game. Okay, my bad. But still, I wasn't disappointed at all in his performance. So halftime, we're losing to LA 62-56. I was pretty shocked by that, honestly. I was really not okay with that, to be honest, as well. I was like, hey guys, like, this is a very depleted Clippers team. Like, you know, we are almost fully healthy. Like, there's no reason why we should be losing this game. But I think there is some reasons why. But anyway, so we head into the third quarter. I noticed this is all game. OG's threes all short. Every single one of them.
Yep, I know it's the same thing.
Yeah, and he I think it's just because he hasn't gotten his legs under him, you know, he hasn't played in forever. So he's just
He'll get there.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. And they're all hitting the rim, you know, they're all close enough. So, you know, it's just and then again, we could talk about the New York game as well, because obviously.
And he still finished 3 for 7 from 3. Like from that fourth quarter, he really heated up.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, actually, yes, he did. Yeah, he did. I got that written down there, but so I think the defense was decent to start the half. We let in a few drives, but then it started going pretty bad, where we weren't hustling. Like, we started decent at a place where it could have gone either much better after gaining some intensity, or much worse. And I think it did go down the much worse path. We let them go on a couple of runs. We had to take like two timeouts or something. Like, it was not it. You know, our defense was just not there. We weren't hustling. We weren't getting to the spots, and it was annoying because it was almost like that we were just being lazy. I honestly didn't really think it had anything to do with the fact that we were, you know, not playing good defense. Well, we weren't playing good defense, but I think it was just we were not hustling to our spots, and we let in a couple transition baskets for them too, and it was just like, come on guys, like, you know.
I think just I think just some of the guys like OG and Fred and them Kem, like, I think they're kind of showing they're showing that they haven't played for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Just coming in there,
which is fair.
Yeah.
So then we had Fred, with a much needed 3 off a ball screen from Kem, which was like very momentum changing. I think we went on like an 8-0 run after that or something like that. We had a Fred with a nice full court drive to tie us that game. Oh geez, I had to write this down. We had
Fred
speed
okay.
Two.
Sorry,
What's up?
Say.
Well,
I was gonna say that Fred's finishing has been so much better.
Oh god,
so much
better. Like elite, man. Like the fact he's like he's his height, he's his unknown height, and he's
his unknown height.
And
this is a question
and
mark.
He's finishing so effortlessly.
Yeah.
Over guys way taller than him, especially like the last 4 games. Like in New York, we'll talk about the New York game too. But oh my God, it's ridiculous how good he's good at how good he's been.
Well, and actually, I think a little bit of that has to do with the fact that, okay, if there's one guy on this team that we have seen absolute consistency from through and through, and has played basically the entire season so far, it's been Fred, right? And I think that at the beginning of the season, all the teams knew that Fred was the threat. Fred was the guy that we needed to cover, and whereas because OG really hadn't necessarily established himself quite yet, then he got injured, and then of course we had a lot of other things. Scotty was still kind of getting in his rhythm and bag, and I think that a lot of teams collapsed on Fred and played really good defense on him because he was the major threat. But now we've got a whole bunch of threats on the team. So Fred, it opens up a lot of opportunities for Fred, because now when he's driving down low, I think earlier in the season we would probably see him get double teamed, sometimes even triple teamed, and now they've only got one guy on him, and Fred can totally beat him. He's way quicker than most of these guards who try to guard him, and all he has to do is make a couple shifty dribbles, get inside, and he's putting up. And you're right, Elias. Like, his finishing has just been so good, so good. So yeah, he had that nice four-court drive. I do have to mention this. Svi airballed 2 threes in a row, man.
Oh, man.
It was really, really
I'm so
disappointing.
done with him.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my
he'd be
god,
so hard,
man!
Sam.
I thought he was a shooter.
It was.
He's shooting worse than Scotty Barnes from 3. Like,
well, Jack said during the Knicks game that he believes that he talked to Nick Nurse, and Nick Nurse believes in his long-term shooting ability.
I still believe in him.
Okay, I mean, and I'm not down for not believing in Svi, but bruh, 2 air balls like that in a row against the Clippers, man. I was like, that was tough to watch. That was really tough to watch.
Hey man, even the greatest players airball.
Yeah, it's fair.
not that much.
LeBron airballed a free throw last season or something. You know, it happens.
Yeah, LeBron and Svi Mykhailiuk, though. You know, they're one and the same.
To the best of us.
Yeah,
they're cut from the same cloth.
They're pretty similar players. Yeah. They're both. I don't see much difference between those two, to be honest with you.
No, not at all.
No, and dude, okay, see, if Svi's shooting like 53% from 2, he's okay.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how Svi's evolution happens.
I'm still on Team Svi.
I mean, he is 24 years old. I don't want to be too hard on him, right? Like, he is 24, so. And I think he
hasn't shown anything though in his career. Like,
to be fair, he's not being asked to do much, so like I get it.
Yeah.
But also, I think it can come around. I don't know. I see a fire under him, Sam. I see a fire under Svi that no one else sees.
All right, man. Yeah, you are.
Start him. We should just start him at this point, honestly.
you and Nick Nurse, the two ones to see it.
Yeah, me and the $1 million head coach.
Yeah.
You just criticized him. Now Nick Nurse is the greatest coach.
That was episodes ago.
So running down to the third, I was very disappointed with how close this game was. That deep in the third, I was just like, man, it was honestly, if I had to say this is legitimately how I felt, because we had most of our team back, and although guys are trying to get their legs and stuff, we were playing an extremely depleted Clippers team, and the Clippers aren't even really that good to begin with, and like, I'm like, I was like, if this is what we're gonna play like for the next like little bit here as a full team, I was like, man, we're gonna have a very disappointing season. But I spoke too soon. I thought too soon, because we'll talk about the Knicks game. So the last thing I had written down here is that OG, man, he had 3 guys on him down low, draws a foul. And what I wanted to say, and this was near the end of that quarter. Do you guys remember? So like they're trying to rip the ball from him. There's 3 guys down low by the basket, and he just kind of just jumped up, just kind of ripped the ball up,
He's so strong.
He drew a foul. But what I wanted to say about this specific play actually was that it's an impressive display of aggressiveness and strength to do that, because he's like a 2-3 guard, right? And for him to have this ability to down low, being guarded by 3 guys, not have the ball stripped away from him, and be able to rip the ball up and actually end up drawing a foul, I was very impressed, because that is very difficult for most guards, I would say, to do in the league. That is a very challenging thing to be able to accomplish. And
OG might be the strongest guy on the team.
Yeah, he might be.
Just pure strength. He is.
I think so. Him and Kem probably.
Yeah.
But then
honestly,
as far
Scotty
as
too, man. Scotty's ridiculously strong.
Yeah, dude, Scotty's a freak. Dude.
Yeah. But I was just like, there are really not very many 2-3 guards in the league who can do that sort of thing. Like, if I think of somebody even like Chris Middleton, like, he doesn't have that strength, that inherent just explosiveness Because, dude, those are important plays. Those are very important plays. When we can have a guard, a 2-3 guard, who's able to go down low, being guarded by 3 guys, and be able to not have the ball stolen from him, not foul anybody else with an offensive foul, but actually draw a defensive foul. So I was very, very impressed with OG's display of aggressiveness and using his size to his advantage, because he is a big guy. Man, he's huge. And he plays a lot bigger than he is as well. So fourth quarter, we had OG with a big 3 to get us near a tie. Then we had OG with a big steal and a transition dunk. OG with another big 3. It looked in the fourth quarter that he had his legs under him a little bit now. The ball's a higher arcing shot. It seemed like he really started to get in his flow. Pascal, man, I got to say that, bro. Pascal had Reggie Jackson. Is it Reggie Jackson? Am I talking about the right?
Yep.
Yeah, Reggie Jackson in the mid post all day. Oh, yeah. Every time they got that switch, Pascal was shooting over him every single time. They were
working that switch, dude. They were working that switch every time.
Every time. And Pascal had him, bro, because Pascal wasn't being double teamed. So it was literally just Reggie Jackson, and Pascal's gonna shoot over him every single time, and he had him in that mid.
They couldn't double team him. They couldn't double team him because we had OG and Fred and Gary out there too.
Exactly,
you know?
Bro. Exactly. So
Pascal in the fourth quarter had 9 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists.
Wow, Pascal's been eating the rebounds lately. Hey.
Oh, I know.
19, yeah,
Didn't he have something like
19
rebounds or something disgusting?
He had 19 in this one, and then 15
God.
or 14 in the Knicks game.
Yeah, he's been eating the rebounds.
But also 7 assists in both games too, man.
Wow.
He is.
Wow.
He is a.
Filling the stat sheet.
Yeah,
8 assists in the Sixers game.
What's that, Sam?
Very good.
8 assists as well in the Sixers game. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, stuff in the stat sheet.
Yeah, he was extremely impressive, man. Pascal was just eating, bro. He was eating. And honestly, he was kind of eating this whole game. Like, he had so many nice mid-range turnaround shots, so many really beautiful layups, like spin move layups. He's really like, there was a period of time where I was watching Pascal, even earlier this season, when his spin move wasn't looking quite right, and he would kind of spin sometimes in the wrong direction, or spin too late, or spin too early. And now it looks like he's really got his timing perfect down. Like, his timing is great. The shots are falling, like and they look like smooth shots that are like hitting the back of the rim and going straight down every time.
He is growing on me heavily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Pascal. Yep.
So then we had Fred with a late clutch drive. That's that English ball that he put up that we were talking about earlier. The Fred's finishing ability, and then Fred hit a huge 3 to put us up 114-108. Then I think, did they foul us and we hit 2 free throws or something?
Yeah, I think OG might have hit the last 2 free throws.
Yeah, and so OG hits the last 2 free throws, 116-108. The ending of this game, I was very impressed with. And I think there are good things to pick and choose out of this game. I think Chris performed really well as well. I think Chris has been good actually the last couple games. He's playing more like he should be playing. Showing more flashes of how we saw him 2 seasons and last season ago. So, and I really wasn't. I don't know. I think overall, if there was anything I was disappointed about this game, it was a little bit of the defensive energy. But I think we were able to make up for it in a lot of other ways. But do you guys want to go game thoughts for this game? Do you guys have any game thoughts?
Yeah, I guess my biggest thing, the first 3 quarters were a little bit just up and down and rough. Like, the defense didn't look great. You could tell guys just gelling, getting their legs under them. But that fourth quarter, Pascal, Fred, and OG, or all game, like, their stats, like, Pascal finishes with 25, 19, and 7. Fred, 31, 9, and 4. And then OG, 26 and 6 with 4 steals. Like, that's your quote-unquote big 3. Mm-hmm. And in the fourth quarter, like, they carried that fourth quarter. It was OG at the start, and then it was that 2-man game with Fred and Pascal, getting the switch for Pascal and him finding Fred for a 3. That was some of the smoothest fourth quarter offense I've seen from the team this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. As far as a lot of the thoughts I have from this game translate over to the Knicks game, so I'll probably hold in things I got to say for this one. But
all right, yeah, no worries.
I totally agree. Where I think our big three performed so well, and then I guess they did the same thing next game. Our big three really stood out, and I think that's gonna be something real dangerous for the season. And like we said this before, but I really want to. I think now more than ever, I want to see this team run it back next year. Just hope we can stay healthy.
Yes,
so
sir.
I really want to see what we can do, man. Like, I want to keep Pascal, and I just really want to see what this team can do. Maybe switch up some bench things, Chris and Svi. But outside of that,
hey, Chris.
No, okay.
Pretty good.
Chris is playing great. Chris is playing great. Chris is playing good, man. He's playing good. But like, I mean, I guess we can. Okay, sure, we can. Okay, I don't want to.
Oh my goodness,
I've
Elias.
seen him play more bad games than
this guy.
I've been seeing
say
him
Chris
play.
has been playing good one more time, Elias. I'll believe you.
Chris Boucher actually closed the game, which I
did.
thought was kind of interesting over
close the
Chem or over Yuta.
You know, and I think one of the
Which is
reasons why
something
actually
we've
is because of his ability to perimeter defend. I think Chris is
Yeah.
actually quite a great perimeter defender, and that's one of the reasons I think why. Because we knew they were going to try to take shots, right? Because they were hitting threes all game. They really were. Like Luke Kennard and Reggie Jackson. They were splashing, bro. They were splashing pretty much all
Amir
game.
Coffee.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. Actually,
Amir
shout out to
Coffee.
that. Shout out to Amir Coffee, because bro, that guy was eating on us.
Minnesota.
Yeah,
He
good
was.
college player, Minnesota.
Yeah. So
I think he played with Oturu. Did he not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or was he the year before? I forget.
I don't
Great
know,
name.
but-
Great name, Your Coffee.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So the only kind of game thoughts I had for this game were Pascal and Fred carried this game, I think, really. OG obviously had OG, I think, scored a quiet 26 points. If you would have told me OG scored 26 points, I would have been like, like.
It was his fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It was mostly fourth quarter.
I did find I can't wait till OG gives us some of that consistency back, because we know OG can be consistent, and I'm like, dude, I can't wait for him to give us that back, and I think we definitely saw that and then a little bit more in the Knicks game. I think there was a lot of decent individual performances. We did struggle defending the perimeter this game, which I was a little bit disappointed by, just because they were hitting their shots, and it's kind of part of the game, but again, we were missing some legs. And I think our hustle plays are really what won us this game, and our intelligent plays on offense. I think our offensive plays that we were really moving the ball around and we were finding our guys for their shots. Like you said, Sam, about Pascal and driving, getting in the mid post, and then when he, if they do end up double teaming him, then he gives it right to Fred, and Fred hits the open three. We kind of had that flow down. So, all right, enough from me. I've already taken up half an hour of this podcast talking about this game. So,
I've got one more thing based
Sure.
on what you just said about the offensive intelligence, I guess. There was a play, I want to say it was in the second quarter, where OG was trying to post up Reggie Jackson, and Jackson did a great job of denying the post pass from Van Vliet. And what Fred did was he was on the same side of the court as OG. He skipped it over to Pascal, and then Pascal handed it right back to OG. And then Pascal curled down and set a screen on Reggie Jackson so OG could curl up and get a drive to the rim. I don't think it actually resulted in anything, but I just kind of like that idea of setting screens so these really athletic guys can go into the rim. Because if OG's going to the rim with one guy to beat, chances are he's going to draw a foul or score. So I just like, you don't see that often for the Raptors. That's something we've criticized Nick Nurse about in the past. So it's
Well, I was going to say, that was another point that I was going to make after the next game. But both these two games, I've seen a lot more play calling and actual set plays going on. And no, I'm really happy with that, because I think maybe he watched my little rant against him. But
he definitely did.
Yeah, and he would have had to. There's no way he does this without hearing me say it. But no, but I think no, I really love to see that, because we have so many weapons, man. And I think that if we can run plays to get guys open or get guys in the post, especially like how we're getting mismatches like that with Reggie Jackson in the post and stuff like that. finding creative ways to get the ball inside to him, and then finding creative ways for guys to move off the ball, especially with like Pascal's a great playmaker out of the post. OG is becoming a better playmaker out of the post, and Scotty is a great playmaker out of the post. So all these things, all these weapons that we have, all these guys who have all these skills that a lot of guys in their position do not have. I think it's really great that we can utilize them, and I think Nick Nurse has been doing a really good job the past couple of games doing that. So yeah, that's a good point, Sam.
Yeah.
Okay, next game.
Let's do it.
Let's move on.
Okay, this is the big one. So
I'm very excited to hear you talk about this game, Elias. Actually,
I'm very excited to talk about this game. So Knicks Raptors. So it was our first game of the new year, and one of like a very few games with a fully healthy team. So we come up with the starting lineup of Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby, and Pascal Siakam. Game starts with a very nice cut by Fred VanVleet for the first bucket of the game. And we were talking about OG's strength earlier. His strength was very much on display in this first quarter. He was getting down low, bodying guys, going up for the layup. I think he had like 2 or 3 buckets in that first quarter where he just was literally only using his body and got a bucket off of them. We started out 5 for 5 this game. Our defense is looking real nice, actually. The rotations are really good. I like this lineup. We'll talk about this more later about the starting lineup, but I like this lineup as a closing lineup, especially because all these guys are very committed to playing defense, and the defensive rotations looked very good because we've seen a lot of we've seen a lot of miscommunications defensively in rotations, and it looked really tight this game, and I really liked that. But something else is that there was not much boxing out this, especially in the first quarter. A lot of guys were getting a lot of offensive rebounds. Obi Toppin had a few. Taj Gibson had a few, and they were just easy ones right into their hands. They just walked up and grabbed them. Another thing I noticed is that Scotty was subbed off. The first guy subbed off about 5 minutes into the first quarter, and he didn't touch the ball once the first 5 minutes, which I didn't.
I was a little. I know. I tensed up when that kind of happened. I was like, oh.
I know. I was like, because I mean we're winning, so it's hard to complain, but at the same time,
I want to see Scotty do something.
Like, future, so I want to see him do a lot. So we'll go. I'll talk about that a bit more later, but that was something I noticed in the first quarter. Then he came back in and he had this crazy left-hand putback.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that was crazy.
Oh my God, that was ridiculous.
I forget who missed. I think it might have been Pascal.
I think it was Pascal. It was Pascal.
Yeah, and then Scotty just came flying in. I thought it was Ken Burch at first, and then he came flying in, just way back, just tipped it.
Dude, such a soft touch, dude, man. It was so unbelievable. Like he just
with the left hand too.
Yeah, he barely touched it with the perfect angle, and it just went right in. I'm like, oh my God.
And that ball was in the air, man.
Yeah.
That was a high ball. Like, So it's a very strong start to this quarter. But then we kind of slowed down near the end of it. Knicks were coming back a bit. So we finished the first quarter up by 3. To start the second quarter, we see some more from OG, but at this time on the perimeter with a step back 3. Precious had a tough game this game. He had some nice plays. He had a couple nice passes to Boucher. He had a nice block in the fourth quarter, but I think he had 3 turnovers. 3 turnovers for the game. He shot 1 for 5. Just not really what you want to see from Precious. I have really high hopes for him, and I think he will get back into things. But I'm still just seeing too much over aggressiveness. Especially there was times where I think was it in this quarter? It was this quarter. He got the ball. He took an unwarranted shot down low, got his own rebound. Instead of passing it back out, he dribbles back out to the perimeter, tries to go ISO, and gets the ball ripped from him. And that's doing way too much for what he is. And the guys that are on the court with him too. That I mean, if it's a whole bench out, then sure. But he's out there with a lot of the starters at that point, so I didn't like seeing that from him. But it is what it is. Boucher had a real nice block on a 3-point attempt, and Gary finished a dunk in transition. at this point, when I was taking these notes, I think it was halfway through the second. No Utah Watanabe at that point yet.
Yeah.
Speed came in before Utah did.
Yeah.
And I know you.
I've got some thoughts on that later. I'll touch on that later, man.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Utah ended up playing a little more minutes. He only played 10 minutes, though. Well, yeah, we'll talk about it. But, yeah, no, that was interesting. He did come in, though, a little bit after that. I guess I wrote down Utah checked in at 351. And, yeah, and then this quarter, our defense was very good for the first half of this quarter. Knicks didn't score for the first 6 minutes. But then Tibbs called a timeout, and then they came out and had this, like, 10-2 run or something.
Yeah.
Shows how much timeouts really help.
And Obi Toppin, dude, Obi Toppin was eating us a little bit too.
His 2 career highs are both against the Toronto Raptors this season. Yeah. He's pretty good. His defense is not good.
I like
though.
Obi.
No.
He can't shoot
I loved him
really
coming out of
much
college,
either.
man.
No, not yet.
No, I thought Obi was going to be like the man coming out of college.
That's what I thought. He was my rookie of the year pick last year.
Me too.
Wow.
But
yeah.
No, because I didn't see Julius Randle having the breakout year he did last year also because they're same position and everything. So anyway, yeah. So we go into the first half up by 11, 56-45. The first minute and 22 seconds of the third quarter, the Raptors have 4 fouls. And Gary's up to 5
Gary
on the
picked up
game.
so many fouls. It was so sad.
He just couldn't stop fouling. What was he?
He hit his fourth like right away. And then I was like, oh shoot. Then they stayed in the game. And then he had this like really weak foul going for 5. Crazy. But our offense was clicking on all cylinders this quarter, man. 40 points this quarter. Fred, this quarter went off.
Unreal,
he was making
dude.
it look 19 points, 3 assists this quarter, 5 threes. He made it look way too easy, man. He looked like it was so effortless for him.
Dude, it was crazy. I almost like couldn't believe my eyes, bro. I was like some of the shots he was taking, like they were good shots, but I just wasn't really expecting them all to go in.
I know, it just looked so effortless, though, did it not? Like,
it did. It was unbelievable.
It was simple. It looked so simple. There was that one off the dribble where he came around. I think it was a screen set. He came around, just pulled up on the right wing, and it's another high arc one we said earlier. And just
crazy.
went, like it was definitely a moment an all-star would have.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
dude. If there's any game that has put his name forward to be an all-star, it was last game. His defense was last game too. Like in the Knicks game was also very good.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't get an all-star selection, I will understand just because of our record.
Yeah.
But he better be in some heavy consideration.
Totally.
I will
man.
only understand if it's if Darius Garland gets in. If both of them don't get in, man, you better watch out. I'm going to be so angry. Darius Garland gets in. I want him to. That's the only way I'll be okay.
Okay, well, I guess Cleveland's so good this year. Yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah. I wouldn't be upset.
But I think both of them do make it, but Fred, like, he has to be an all-star, man. Like, he is.
Oh, and well, also, there's going to be injuries, too. So, like, he has to be. And there's going to be COVID. Like, he's got to be one of them, man.
He'll get in one way or another, I think.
Well, Ben Wallace, I was going to say, will he be the first undrafted all-star? But I think Ben Wallace was an all-star a few times.
Yeah. And what about.
He was,
yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. You know, the third quarter, that's kind of when we just started taking over. And at that point, the Knicks had a better fourth quarter, but the game was too late. It was sealed. Fourth quarter, Boucher had a nice like back scratcher dunk in the lane. That kind of threw me off. I was like, holy. And then that Precious chase down block. But outside of that, I mean, we had the bench in most of the fourth quarter. And we get the W, 120-105. So, yeah, so some big stats from this game. We had Pascal Siakam with 20 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 6 turnovers, but that's okay. Fred, of course, 35 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 7 for 13 from 3. Again, I want to emphasize his finishing ability, too, because he is making some crazy. Like the start of the season, we were complaining about it because he was getting blocked too much. He was forcing it. But man, he's putting so much English on that ball. He had this one reverse layup with a contest, and just the amount of spin he put on it. Man, he's He's been something special this past week. Scotty Barnes had back-to-back threes in there. I don't think I mentioned that, but I freaked out when he did that because it made me so happy.
Oh, that step back.
Yeah, dude,
those
two threes, I was like,
yeah,
Scotty's back.
Because he wasn't doing much this game, and then he had 2 threes. I wrote Scotty back-to-back 3. I was freaking out. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much all for the play-by-plays. But some observations I had that I want to talk about. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. Raptors fans are going to get mad at me again, probably, as they did on Instagram. But Gary's got to go to the bench, man. He's got to go to the bench, I think. And I'll live and die on that.
I don't understand why people think that Gary coming off the bench is like a disrespect thing. Like I was even talking about
they're casuals.
What's that?
Because they're casuals.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I was talking to a friend last night and he was talking about when he played basketball in high school and how he would get discouraged when he would come off the bench. And I'm like, I know you want to start, but at the end of the day, like, the sixth man is one of the most important positions on the team, bro. Like, you are the person who comes in and like, especially if the starting lineup is playing like shit, like, you need to come in and give that and have some fire, especially having a shooter too. A shooter coming in as your sixth man is so essential, man. Like, I don't know, I don't understand why people think that this is NBA basketball, okay? This is chess now, okay? We're not playing checkers anymore. Like, you know what I mean?
Good.
Like,
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, like this is a strategic move. Like, I don't understand why people like we were talking about people who don't maybe it's people who don't really understand the game of basketball, but it's that having somebody coming off the bench is an essential role that you need on a team, and also you need a good bench squad too. And I think that I don't really give a fuck about the Raptors' record, man. I think that we're one of the deepest teams in the NBA in terms of who we have available to us on our bench. And I think that we really have a great starting lineup too. And I think that this Knicks game was if there's any game that I really wanted to sum up how I think the Raptors should be playing for the rest of the season, with hoping that everyone can play with each other again, it's this game. Because now we've been practicing with each other for months now. We've really created a lot of great relationships on the team. I don't think there's any disrespect between any of the players. I think everybody knows that they're here to work, and they're there, and we're here to win. We're here to play games, and we're here to win some basketball. And I really don't think the record has really bothered the guys either. I think that they understand that we've been through a lot so far. But at the end of the day, how we played in this Knicks game, I truly think is how we should be playing every single game.
And also, with Gary going to the bench, it balances out the roster, because right now we've got Chris, Precious, and Cam all coming off the bench, and that works. The Raptors margin. Like playing big and athletic, but I think that also maximizes Precious and Kem's roles, allowing one of them to start, probably Kem, and then it maximizes Gary Trent's Gary Trent is better when he's just right. He's not a playmaker. He's going in to score, and the six-man role is a guy who is. His job is go in and score for us, and that's what Gary Trent does. And it doesn't mean he's not going to close close games. Like that the starting lineup on Sunday is probably the closing lineup in most close games. So that's what matters more, I think, to me than starting is the closing.
I think this makes too much sense. Then you see from these past 2 games, his role has diminished extremely because we have all these other weapons right now.
Yeah.
And naturally Gary's going to be that 4th, 5th option in that starting lineup. And why would we waste his talent as a 4th, 5th guy in the starting lineup when we can maximize his talent off the bench as the number 1 guy?
Absolutely. Gary Trent Jr. is more likely to give you 25 points off the bench than he is starting. Way more likely.
1,000%.
Like even just like a solid 20-point game. He could literally eat 20-point games every game if he wanted to. Anywhere from 15 to 20, anywhere honestly from 15 to 25 points. That's a totally doable metric for him to be able to do that, and probably rack up a couple assists as well and a couple steals coming off the bench. It's just a better position for him. And I don't know, I don't want to beat this horse to death, but it is important that people, especially listeners of the podcast, understand that. Like this is a
us
strategic
saying,
move.
us saying bench Gary is not a knock at Gary.
Absolutely. No,
by
we
any
want him to
means.
see him succeed. He's going to be better off the bench.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we want. It'll be better for the team too. And then starting Kem Birch is better for the team. We have more size, and Fred and Kem just have that go-to. It works every time.
Every time.
So if something's not working out, just do the little short pick and roll with Fred and Kem, and it's a bucket.
You know, and another thing that kind of makes me mad too is that we had Lou Williams on the team, and he won 6th Man of the Year. Like what? Was it 2 years in a fucking row or something?
He won it. Well, he won it 3 times.
He was only with us 1 year. Yeah, he was only with us 1 year, and but no, I just give him that role. Like he is a scorer on offense. That is his role, to be a scorer, and he is not going to do that as the same level as he would at the bench as he would start.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also that's the weakness for this team, I think, is the bench. And who do you trust off the bench right now on a given night? I trust Kem.
Nobody.
I trust Yuta.
Kem, sure.
And
but as much as, yeah, sure, yeah. I thought you meant who do you trust to give the ball and go get a bucket? Because I wouldn't trust anybody who just give the ball and say go score yet. And I think a bench.
No, not one.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. I don't want. Yeah, like Luke says, not be a dead horse here, but I think it makes way too much sense to not start Gary, and also it makes way too much sense to put Gary at the bench and start Kem, in my opinion.
He's still going to play 25, 30 minutes. So
something else. I said this for a second, but I want to see the ball in Scotty's hands a bit more. I think it's hard to complain when we just won 2 games in a row.
And he scored 13 points
with these 3 guys, but yeah. But also, I really want him to become a superstar, man.
Yeah.
I really don't want to take any risks. And
I think coming off of his knee thing, I think that you could sense he was a little bit, at least starting this game, he was a little bit shaky. He was a little bit nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once he hit those 2 threes,
Passive.
and I think once he started getting in his game a little bit more. He really started to loosen up a little bit less rigid. Actually, to be honest with you guys, if I do have to say one thing, I don't really think Scotty's defense was that great this game. I think that he was getting beat off the dribble quite a bit. He was getting beat around screens. Maybe not necessarily towards the end of the game, but at least in the beginning of the game. His defense really wasn't. His off-ball defense, I think he missed a lot of rotations, like defensive rotations. He's still getting back. He's still learning, but... I didn't think he played the greatest defense. I mean, he's always great one-on-one defense, but I think playing team defending, I think he was. His performance was a little bit subpar.
You could tell he was getting back into things.
Yeah.
Right? You could tell he was rusty.
Yeah.
Some of his turnovers were.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's still
so
Scotty Barnes, and he still gave us 13 points, and he still did show some flashes of the real Scotty Barnes that we know and love. And I have no doubt that he's going to be back to being regular Scotty Barnes within the next 2 games, if not the next game.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about it. Yeah.
Well, can I add one more thing there that kind of has to do with the Scotty Barnes thing?
No,
not
at all, Sam.
One thing I've noticed over the last 2 games is the Raptors have elected really not to use a point guard off the bench.
That's true.
And the point guard, the backup point guard duties have been basically Pascal and then Scotty a bit tonight. And I actually really like that because Malachi Flynn doesn't play the way the Raptors want to play, right, with size. Like this game, everyone was above 6'6", except for Fred, who played, or maybe Gary Trent. But everyone was big in this game. There were some massive lineups with Pascal or Scotty at the point. And I think Delano Banton, right, he's not giving you anything on the offensive end unless it's in transition. And I think at least as much as I hate on Svi, at least the defense does have to respect his shooting gravity, which Delano doesn't have that. So I understand giving Svi some of those minutes, and then Yuta obviously does so much well. So I like the big point guard experiment with. I think it helps Scotty get those reps in that he might not normally get with the starters, and then I think Pascal has looked really awesome, like conducting the offense. Like his passing once again in this game was just like absurd.
Yeah,
some of the plays he was making.
I think it's I'm really glad you brought that up because I did notice that. I just totally forgot that was a thing that's talk about. But I'm really glad you brought that up because I really like that also. Same reasons you said, giving Scotty those reps, but also letting Pascal run the show more because he really can do it. We've seen he can do it. I think it can still be more fine-tuned and everything like that, but that'll come with time, obviously. But no, yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up because that's a very good point. And like Malachi, Luke, as much as you love Malachi, I just don't think he fits, right?
No, and to be honest, like I'm absolutely willing to see that perspective. And I think we talked about this maybe last podcast. Like I even said to you guys, like I wouldn't even mind seeing him on another team to just see him succeed because you're right. Like he's just, like there's just I can see the direction the Raptors want to go, and I understand that. I don't know. Maybe if Fred was a little bit older and they wanted to like kind of push Malachi into that Fred role so that he could like if Fred was like 33 or 34, like
the same as Fred and Kyle Lowry's dynamic.
Yeah, then I could see them wanting to groom Malachi, but at this point, there's not enough of an age gap between Fred for Malachi to take over that role and actually gain some decent minutes while Fred is still playing. So. I think that Fred just takes up a lot of those minutes, and you're right. Like, who's the guy that we want to fill in that next role? Well, it's most likely going to be somebody like Delano Banton, right? Like, it's mostly we want Scotty handling the ball. We want these big guys, and it comes with its downsides. And I'm sure, to be honest, once people do get a little bit older, we're probably going to end up acquiring somebody like a smaller point guard again, maybe in the future. But I just right now at this time. At this particular moment, I agree. I just can't see Malachi really fitting in with the squad. It's very disappointing, and I think Malachi, I really hope he has like a really great career other places because I think he's got it in him. But the timing, I think that it's just literally comes down to timing.
Yep. So as like just as much as those two guys are like loved by us, Malachi and Delano. I love Delano. I know Sam likes Delano. I think that. With the roster of the guys we have right now who can play at a more mature level, we'll say, at a more competitive level in the NBA, having Pascal and Scotty run that point guard, I think suits us a lot better because we're not forced to play these younger guys who are so inexperienced.
Yeah.
So the fact that they can do that, I think, is really great for our roster.
It also presents mismatches. Like at one point, Emmanuel Quickley was guarding Scotty, and Scotty just took him to the rim and drew fouls.
Right.
Like Emmanuel Quickley isn't like if you're putting on him. Like obviously you're not gonna put him on Pascal, so he's gonna be on Scotty or OG or Fred. Like it's
we can mismatch a lot of teams, and like there's one point where the top three guys for the Knicks, or I guess the 1, 2, 3 for the Knicks was Quickley, Burks, and Barrett, all undersized compared to our starting lineup. Like
and that goes for a lot of teams, man. That's like I don't like we talk about this, and this is the whole design of the Raptors, but they really have such an unorthodox design of as a team where where we might lack in the post defending. We can possibly make up for with our just ginormous size on the perimeter and on the and extended, and where we can get those guys playing down low. And it's really like when we're all healthy and playing well, it's really hard to guard us, man, because we just have so many options, and we have so many guys who can do everything. Like we can trust OG out on the perimeter. We can trust OG in the post. Like these are guys we can trust anywhere. And I hope that we keep developing guys like Delano Banton, because I think that they fit that sort of archetypal player that we're kind of going for. I'd hope eventually to see Delano Banton maybe post up. I don't really think we've ever seen Delano really kind of get into the low game and actually start posting up guys, but I think that's possible to see. That's an end game where we could see him add that to his game, and just developing that sort of same type of player. That's why this game was so entertaining to watch, because honestly I really think that they just had no answer for us. They really didn't.
Yeah, and I just loved seeing us healthy and seeing all the opportunity and all the potential, all the versatility we can do with this roster. And like you said about Delano, same thing goes for Precious too.
Yeah, totally.
He can grow and he can fit into our system with his height, and his playmaking potential is also really
low. His 3 passes, like he did have 3 turnovers, but those 3 passes he had to Boucher, like that was pretty, like that was some good stuff to see, like from a backup big to do that, right?
Yeah, you haven't seen much of that from this year, and the few of those, like, that one lob to Chris was like really well timed.
Yeah.
It looked like something Fred would do.
Totally.
Right?
And it was a good decision because I feel like sometimes in the past we've seen Precious want to take that himself, and then we see him get blocked or it's just or he just totally shanks a layup and it just goes flying off the backboard. It's like when we just love to see that he has the recognition to be like. I feel like we need to see a little bit more of that out of Svi too. Giving the ball up. Give it up. This is a team game.
Anytime Svi's name is mentioned, Sam's head just shakes.
And I don't understand why he came in before Yuta. Like, what does Svi
I don't either.
do better than Yuta?
Well, I don't know. I don't necessarily know if it has anything to do with performance. I think maybe Nick Nurse is trying to get Svi to step up. I think I think the more and more Svi might feel that he's falling into the lower areas in the lineup, he might get discouraged. And I think maybe Nick Nurse is just trying to give him some fire and be like, okay, go out there and see what you can do. Because we know Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse does very unorthodox things. I think we should take Svi going in before Yuta with a grain of salt, to be honest, because Nick Nurse, if there's any coach in the entire NBA who's going to give you the weirdest lineups you've ever seen, it's Nick Nurse. And I think we literally just talked about that with the lineup where we have no point guard out there, and we see interesting things from it.
Yeah, he's very innovative.
Yeah, totally.
You gotta give him that. He's very innovative. And I think I think with this healthy roster, we're gonna try and make a playoff run.
Yeah. I hope so. I really hope so.
I don't see us doing a tank job with this healthy roster. So assuming we stay healthy.
What's the point? What's the point?
Well, assuming we stay healthy, I think we really do want to try and get Svi going come playoff time, because having him on would be a huge weapon off the bench.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think that's also something that Nick is trying to do. But I do want Utah to play more than 10 minutes. I will say
I agree.
That.
Totally.
Game.
He's such a good defender, man. Utah's such a good defender.
He's good at everything.
Yeah.
He's good at
and
everything.
He's shooting 38% from three. Does what you want off the bench.
I find that Yuta doesn't really shoot the greatest at the beginning of the game, but once he gets into the third and fourth quarter, Yuta actually can shoot much better towards down the stretch.
You can trust him for a 3 game, right?
Yeah, totally.
They have to respect him out there. The Raptors right now are only 2 games back of the Sixers for the 6th seed. It's super crowded, and only 3 games back of the Cavs for the 5th seed. So it's a log jam.
And we haven't been healthy all year.
Yeah,
we haven't been healthy all year either. So
might see a run coming. Yeah, let's knock on wood. Hope they stay healthy.
Okay, wait, I heard that. Okay,
this is the 5th.
This is the 5th game that OG's ever played with Scotty, Pascal, and Fred. I think.
Yeah.
The 5th game all season.
It's crazy, man.
All season.
It's crazy.
All season. All season we've had one guy back and one guy out.
Yeah, every single time.
That's how it's been for us.
And then every time we have one guy back and one guy out, we are missing somebody like Kem or Precious or somebody who gives us some force, some power.
Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't seen the full power that this roster can do.
The full power.
I'm really excited.
The full
unlimited power.
It feels nice we can actually take stuff out of games now, right? What this core looks like going forward, because it was always, what is it going to look like with Pascal back? What's it going to look like with Yuta back?
That's what I'm excited for.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so excited about this game.
I'm gonna ask my question now, if you guys don't mind, because a big theme over the last 4-ish games or last little bit has been Pascal and Fred, and I think we all agree Fred's probably going to be an all-star this year.
Hopefully he better be, man.
All-star. Yep. Pascal isn't playing at an all-star level. He's not going to get in, but we know the type of player he is. So I was just doing a rough look at Eastern Conference duos and kind of seeing where Fred and Pascal might rank within them. So obviously you've got Durant and Harden, Levine and DeRozan, Giannis and either Middleton or Holiday, Brown and Tatum, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. After that, for the sum of both parts, not just Embiid and Tobias Harris, I guess, because Embiid is so good, but Tobias Harris, right, is much worse than Pascal and Fred
as a duo, as a whole. Yeah.
And then Trae Young and John Collins, that one you could argue for sure. They've got a great connection, but Pascal and Fred have a real argument for top 6 duo in the East.
Yeah, totally, man. Totally.
Pretty impressive. And they've got a great chemistry too.
I'm just looking at it now. I would put Levine and DeRozan over them. I put Katie and Harden over them.
Yep.
I put Giannis and whichever the other one you want to say over them.
Yep.
I put Jimmy and Bam over them.
To be honest, I feel like Giannis and Drew have been going pretty hard, man. Giannis and Drew have got a thing.
Yeah.
Like you could say Giannis and Chris or Giannis and Drew, man.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Would you put Drew and Middleton over Fred and?
I don't know, man. That's like, 'cause I think that's the tier of player Pascal and Fred are both in.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's why I asked. I think that'd be interesting.
I think Fred and Pascal might be a little bit more dynamic, like because they're different positions. They might work better together. But but they're up there. Like that's just to go to show, like.
And honestly, we also cannot deny that Fred is one of the best defenders. Out of that entire group of people we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So
at his position, he's one of the best.
Absolutely.
And then Pascal's one of the best off-ball defenders out of all of them, right? So it's
if we're talking duo, like chemistry-wise, I'm putting them over Brandon Tatum.
Chemistry-wise,
yeah, I would say so for sure.
Yeah.
Pure ability, though.
I hate the dynamic between Brown and Tatum so much.
Yeah, no, they don't like. Like that Clippers game.
There's nothing going.
That Clippers game, man. Fred and Pascal is just like the last 6 minutes of the game. They just like orchestrated and got whatever look they wanted to. They looked so comfortable.
Yeah. And I think if they are in the same if you put Fred and Pascal on Boston, took Tatum and Brown off, I think Fred and Pascal put up the same type of numbers.
Yeah.
Because no one else on that team could do anything.
I think
relatively.
I just think and their play styles fit so well, right? They could both play off ball. They could both play on ball. They both defend. They can both play make. They can both score. Neither of them are like the one knock, I guess, is like neither of them are that like elite class of like right. Neither of them are superstars, but like that's a pretty awesome all-star duo. Then that's not even mentioning OG, right? Who has looked like an all-star at points this year, and then who knows what Scotty looks like, man. Like there's just so much optimism out of this Knicks game. Just it's so fun to see dude. We've wanted this all year. All the guys healthy.
Yeah.
So nice to see.
Dude, I was so psyched, man. Before this game, I was like, I cannot wait to see just what happens. And we haven't even had a chemistry build yet.
Yeah.
Because again, this is one of the first times they've all been healthy. So just if this, man, I hope that we just stay healthy for 10 games. Just give us 10 games at least.
Yes,
I'm trying to be realistic
agree.
here. Give us 10 games of health and see what we can become, because I think this team has a lot of potential with what we have right now.
100%. I couldn't agree more, man. It's just we're one of the most slept on teams in the NBA, and it's because our people look at our record and they're like, oh, the Raptors suck, and it's like, bro, you have not invested at any time in the team and understanding that they are a serious threat, man. If there's any team that's gonna come and make a surprise playoff run, it's gonna be the Raptors.
I can say that's us, and I think the Hawks can do it again if they get healthy.
Oh yeah, but I still think, bro, we could beat them for sure.
I think we can get up there, man. Like Boston, I think we're going to be better than Boston by the end of the season.
We have the potential. We could beat Chicago. We have the potential.
I don't know.
We got potential, bro. We got absolute potential.
Dude, shout out DeMar DeRozan. I love DeMar so much.
No, shout out DeMar DeRozan. But think about it. Think about Sam.
DeMar
We kind of outsize them too. Like we got those.
We do.
They're a smaller team, and I think if we can keep using our size to our advantage, we could push. We could push.
Yeah.
I think the Bulls' offense though is just.
It is, and that's the thing. They're an offensive-oriented team, right? Like if we can play some really great defense against the Bulls, man.
I don't think it's a blowout. It's not a blowout.
No, it's not a blowout. No. Definitely not.
No, but I would put the Bulls over us in a playoff series. That's what we're talking about right now.
Right now, yeah. Give us 10 games. Give us those 10 games. Maybe we'll have a conversation again. We'll have the conversation again.
Yeah. No, I see the Celtics falling, man. I see the Wizards falling more. Charlotte's been real iffy as of late.
They've been banged up for a bit now.
Yeah, and just LaMelo doesn't look as good as he did at the start of the year. At least, and same with Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges
has been out with COVID now for a little bit as well.
Yeah, but even before that, he's kind of dropping back to earth a little bit.
And then the Cavs, man. I think the Cavs are going to make a trade. That sucks that they lost Rubio. That's really sad.
Yeah, it's
really
so sad, bro. He was balling this
part.
season, bro. That guy was balling.
Yeah. So I think they're going to make a
trade for Rondo, though.
But I still don't think Rondo's a decent enough replacement for how well Ricky Rubio was doing this season, man.
I don't think Rondo's a player anymore, man.
But I think it's kind of a system thing, man. I think Rubio's strived in that system, and I think him and Rondo are similar as playmakers.
Yeah, but fair. I think Rubio is a much better shooter.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was about to say. It's Ricky Rubio.
He is,
but
that's not what you're asking for from Ricky.
Yeah,
but you're not asking for that really from Ricky. And you're not going to ask that from Rondo. You're going to say, hey man, we need someone to get the bigs the ball.
Yeah, I hope I'm wrong because I love the Cavs. Yeah, but I think they need one more. They need some more shooting and some more creation. But I mean, they're 21-16. I don't see them falling out of the top 6 just with who's chasing them.
No, I don't either. I think we could really be up there going back and forth with Philly for that 6-7 spot.
Yeah, because
and I mean the Knicks are probably gonna. The Knicks might make 9-10. Hawks might make 9-10.
I think the Hawks get in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Celtics fall out, man.
They're falling apart, man. Like they need a.
I hate them. I hate that roster more than the Clippers roster, to be honest.
Okay, man. Clippers roster,
Celtics
I love it.
Favorite roster.
Bunch of grinders. Paul George, second best coach.
Who's a grinder on that team? Who's a grinder on that team?
Nick Batum, Terrence Mann.
Shut up.
Isaiah Hartenstein.
Terrence Mann's. I like Hartenstein.
Terrence
Reggie Jackson's okay.
I like Reggie.
Terrence Mann is not going to be better than he is right now.
He's a good player though now. Good role player.
He's fine. I hate Bledsoe.
Luke Kennard hit a couple threes for you.
Luke Kennard can't defend anything. He's like a stubby T-Rex.
Hey man, they've got modern day.
Phil Jackson has got it out for these boys.
Yeah, jeez, man.
I'm exaggerating. I'm joking. But I don't.
Yeah,
like
you know that guy that you like.
I like the roster more than the
T-Rex.
Yeah, name more. I'll keep going.
Matter of fact, let me call him up, bro, right now. Chirp him to his face.
I know Amir Coffee. Amir Coffee's cool, man.
Yeah,
I'll trade for Amir Coffee.
Such a sick name.
But you just like coffee, Sam.
Yeah, Sam just loves
what
caffeine.
Do you want? But yeah, Celtics roster, not for me.
No. Brad Stevens overrated as a coach, bad as a president. That's what I'll end on.
Yeah, Ime Udoka is
give him some time
either.
Give Ime some time. That's a hard roster to work with.
It is. I don't know. They got to make some serious moves. They got to trade one of them. I think they should trade Jaylen Brown.
I'm glad we don't play them for a while because they're tough. That's a tough watch.
Yeah, I watched a bit of that Celtics Magic game yesterday just because I wanted to watch something, and God, even playing against the Magic, they just look. I mean, Jaylen Brown at 50 piece, but I guess they need that. They need those two to have a good game, or else they're garbage
to beat the depleted Magic.
Yeah, and I don't think they're mature enough to be consistently that good. So,
do you guys want to do looking ahead?
Yeah, let's just do a quick looking ahead, and we'll wrap it up. We're at
this is my game, man. Oh, all right. This is quick. I can't wait for this game because, as some may know, I love. Well, the Spurs have a lot of injuries right now, and because of that, it's letting Devin Vassell and Josh Primo get tons of playing time. Two of my favorite young guys in the league. So I can't wait to watch. I hope the Raptors have a bad defensive game, so their numbers look a lot better.
Come on.
So I can look better. Josh Primo coming back to Canada, kind of fun.
Is Lonnie playing right now?
Nope, he's out. Health and safety.
Man, I wanted to make a bet with you. To score more points, Lonnie or Vassell. No, yeah, I think that should be an interesting game. If we're healthy again, I see it as a win. Hopefully, there's the Bucks on Wednesday, but we'll record the next podcast before that game. So, should be a good one.
That's it, man.
Alrighty, okay, man. This is a great podcast today. I think this was a stress reliever for me. I was actually looking forward to recording this podcast. And I'm like, I need to let loose a little bit.
Yeah.
So. Anyways, okay, that's great. I think this is a really, really, really productive show, everybody. We got a lot covered, a lot of ground covered, a lot of exciting things to talk about.
Positive show.
I think if there's anything that this podcast means for me, it's excitement for the future, excitement for the next couple games ahead, and excitement for playoffs eventually coming up. Because man, it'll be a competitive year this year, and let's hope that COVID doesn't mess everything up, and let's keep optimistic about this because if everything goes well, it's going to be such an entertaining playoff run for every team, honestly. So, yeah, well, I guess without further ado, I'm your host, Luke Dick.
I'm Elias Eldridge.
And I'm Sam Kenny.
And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you guys get your podcasts, make sure to leave us a rating and also leave us a review. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at RapChat Podcast, where we post new clips of the show every week. So we will see you guys next episode. Peace out.
Peace.